So today I decided to spend a little time getting into my beehive. I've been neglecting it most of the summer. I got in there a few times, but not as often as I should have. Been working a lot of Saturdays at work, so haven't had the time. And then when I do have the time, it's either rainy or it's just too hot to get in there and bother them. So I'm going to start out here by clearing some of the brush around the hive that's grown up, give the bees a little bit more room to exit and enter the hive. Then I'm going to go in and see how the honey looks, check for queen cells. I'm not going to pull any brood frames out. I'm just basically going to go in and make sure there's no swarm cells. Clean up the little bit of extra wax and propolis that are gluing everything together. See how much honey is in there and then add a honey super. As you can see here, I am clearing some of the brush that's grown up around the hive. This ought to make it a little bit easier for the bees to fly in and out. I don't want to take too much away because it helps keep them cooler in the summer on the hot days. So now I'm getting my smoker lit, um, making sure it's ready to go as I get ready to open up the hive. Like I said, I haven't been in here as much as I should be, so it's going to be a little bit difficult getting the covers and everything open because they like to glue stuff together with the wax and propolis. I'm going to put a little bit of smoke out and then I'll start prying the cover off. Take a peek inside, see how it looks. I'll set the cover down upside down. It has bees, as you can see in the center. They're all stuck to the top of the cover. Give a little bit of smoke to keep them calm. And then I'll start to remove the inner cover. This was pretty difficult. It was really glued down. It's also covered with bees, so I'll lean it up behind the hive. Here I'm just laying out some smoke. They weren't really aggravated, but just to try to keep them calm. Get them down off the top so I can scrape the propolis and stuff off. Try to clean it up as best I can. Next, I'll be working to get the two honey supers off. They are pretty full and actually very heavy, probably weighing 60, 70 pounds each, and they are stuck together. So I have to be very careful using my Hive tool to separate the boxes and pry them up slowly. I will then try to grab it, and I usually put them on top of the lid diagonal so they're only sitting on a couple surfaces. Once the first one's removed, I'll smoke the bees down, and any wax that are on top of the frames, I'll scrape off and toss it to the side. These boxes weren't too bad. I've had them a lot worse, where the bees just kind of build comb out wherever they can, and you go to separate them, and there's honey going everywhere, and there's wax everywhere. But these ones, they weren't too bad, considering how long it's been since I was in there last. Once I get the second honey super off, I'll start working to lift up the brood boxes so that I can make sure there's no queen cells hanging off the bottom of the frames. Here I am cleaning up the bottom of the honey frames, any excess comb that they might have built off the bottom. This is the first time I've had my drone up and left it unattended while I do something else, so that made me a bit nervous as well, but it seemed to do okay. These next three boxes are the brood boxes where the queen lays her eggs. So basically, I'm just looking at the bottoms because if a hive is getting ready to swarm, they produce another queen, and the queen cells that they produce the queen in are hanging off the bottom of the frames. So I lift it up and I inspect the bottom of the frames, and if I see any queen cells, I knock them off. If they were going to replace a dead queen, the queen cells would be further up on the frame, and you really wouldn't see it when lifting up the bottom. I did see the start of a few queen cells, so I knocked those loose. Another good indication if they're going to swarm is you see a lot of drone bees, which I didn't see a lot of them, but I didn't really take the time necessary to look. Pretty much it was hot, I was sweaty. I just wanted to get in there, take a look, clean them up, and get out, see how much honey they had. I did add another honey super. When I close them back up, you'll see at the end of the video there's an extra box on top. Hopefully that'll give them the extra room that they need and a place to store more honey. I am by no means a beekeeper. I started doing this because my dad kept bees and I thought it was pretty interesting. Growing up on an apple orchard, we always had bees there, and in the springtime they would bring a tractor trailer truckload of bees to put out in the apple orchard. So now I'm down to the bottom box, just taking a look to see if there are any swarm cells in there, scraping off any extra, and then I'll start reassembling. So here I am reassembling the hive, basically just putting the boxes back on in the same order that they came off, with the exception of the end where I'll be adding another box to the top, which kind of makes it pretty high and difficult to get in there, but I need to give them more space as they filled up both of those honey supers with honey, and the majority of the frames are already capped. So I just want to make sure they have plenty of space. I'll probably pull some honey in next week, um, so I can start extracting it and then see what we get for the fall flow. But so far, production is pretty good this year. So I appreciate you watching. Please like and subscribe, comments, Any type of comments is a good comment. If you're a beekeeper and you see that I did something that, shouldn't have done, feel free to comment that. I always like to learn new things. Thanks for watching. Have a great day.